We've all heard the announcement, clean up on aisle 5. Clean up on aisle 5. That means something's went wrong. My name's Sean Todd, tax attorney, CPA, and certified financial planner, host here on The Professional Edge. Thanks for listening in. Before we clean up on aisle 5, take advantage of emcthebundle.com. That is Echo Mary Charlie thebundle.com. So, what does clean up on aisle 5 mean when we talk about estate planning, tax planning, and investments? Well, what it means is let's get things cleaned up before it becomes a real mess. So, the last session we were talking about your portfolio and what we need to do within that. So let's clean up on aisle 5 within your after-tax brokerage account. So when was the last time you actually had an objective third-party look at your portfolio allocation to make sure and understand what real risk you're actually taking within that portfolio? Well, probably 95% of our listeners here on The Professional Edge have not actually done that. It's called a Morningstar report. It's an independent third party that says how does the risk and how does your allocation actually mesh? Well, a lot of people just look at their regular after-tax brokerage account, but they don't include what's in their 401k, inside their Roth IRAs, and this is the magic of this software. They put it all together and say, hey, how is this a diversified portfolio? What does it actually look like? What are the historical returns as compared to some benchmark? And the benchmark that a lot of people are very familiar with is the S&P 500 index. So take a second to figure that out, and we offer that to our clients at estate management counselors, and that analysis actually produces a lot of great information to make some good financial decisions. So when we also look at your cleanup on aisle 5 as it pertains to your after-tax account, the adage is, how are you going to actually fund your retirement income? You may have a magic number. Let's throw out, you want $5,000 a month from your portfolio in retirement. Well, when was the last time you sat down and said, am I on track to get to that retirement goal to be able to afford a withdrawal from my portfolio of $5,000 per month? And that is after-tax spendable money. So, unfortunately, individuals that have large 401ks or IRA accounts say, hey, I got $700,000 in my IRA, or I have $700,000 in my 401k at work. I say, yes, you do have $700,000, but you don't have $700,000 of spendable money inside that 401k because it's never been taxed. So the first dollar you draw out of your 401k is going to be subject to tax. Quick math, 30% marginal tax rate. You take 10, you get to spend 7. So in that analysis, wow, 10 grand, I have to withdraw 10 grand to spend 7 times 12 months. I have to withdraw $120,000 of that account because there's $10,000 per month. There's 12 months in a year. I'm withdrawing $120,000 of that $700,000 401k to be able to spend $7,000 a month. Wrap your head around that one. Now, what we also have to do is account for, clean up on aisle 5, your longevity risk. So unfortunately and fortunately, two sides of the coin, we are the very first generation which has to plan for 20 years in retirement. Think about that, 20 years in retirement. The previous generation, they were expected to be dead within 4 years of retirement. Now you have to plan for 20 years of retirement. So when have you done that analysis to see if the same purchasing power, that $7,000 per month, and we all know what inflation is, it hit us pretty hard in 2023 and 2024, what inflation is. Hopefully we won't have these spikes again, but there's no guarantee of that. So will your same $7,000 per month that you retire with today, spendable, have the same purchasing power 10 years, 15, and 20 years from now? The number is staggering on how much money you're going to have to pull out of your accounts 20 years from now to have the same purchasing power $7,000 today does, even at a 3 or 4% inflation rate. So you, don't get caught with that cleanup in aisle 5 to where you have not properly planned for that silent killer of purchasing power, and that is inflation. To sit down and have a very candid conversation, do give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. We can either meet down here in Columbus at the Cunningham Center. If you want to challenge the traffic in Atlanta, we can meet up at my office in Atlanta. And if you want to sit in the comfort of your home, we will just schedule a Zoom or a Teams meeting and review things from there. Basically, it's my challenge to you as a listener here on the Professional Edge to get this calculation done on what impact $7,000 at a 3% inflation rate, what you will need 20 years from now to have the same spendable income level. It is staggering. It is eye-opening. So that's my challenge to you here as a listener on the Professional Edge. Do get that done. Okay. Clean up on aisle 5. Clean up on aisle 5. What does that mean? Well, it means we have an issue. Have you actually accounted for the sequence of return risk? What does that mean? That sounds real complicated. Sequence of return risk. Well, if you've been participating in the market these past 3 years, they've been pretty robust. We had a sort of bust in, I believe it was, I can't even remember exactly. It was, we had a down market. It was 2021. Where the market went down by 30%, the NASDAQ. Well, if you started retirement that year, well, then your portfolio, give it $1 million when you started retirement, was down to $700,000 the first year into your retirement. And let's say you didn't withdraw anything. So you're down to $700,000, and now you start withdrawing. In our example, you want spendable of 7, you're withdrawing 10 because we have a 30% marginal tax rate for quick numbers and discussion purposes here. So you're drawing down $120,000 so you can spend 7 per month. Well, that's a huge withdrawal on that remaining balance of $700,000. You're taking 120 of the 700 that you have left. So have you made that analysis for the sequence of return risk? Now, if you're retired the year after the 30% decline in value, then your rate of return has been double digits since you've retired. Well, it looks like you're magic and the market's magic because you're earning more than you're withdrawing. You withdrew the $120,000 in our example, but you still have more money left in your account. That is nirvana in retirement. I withdraw all the money I want and my account continues to grow. Well, that is, you are on the positive side of the sequence of returns, not on the negative side to where you enter into retirement and you have a negative or down year for the first couple of years. Will your portfolio sustain itself if those sequence of return risk impact your portfolio? Now, That's where the power of the financial planning software that we use is called a Monte Carlo simulation. What is the probability of success that you will not run out of money through the sequence of return risks? Well, that if you run it by the pencil, and I'm going to tell you that would be a very hard calculation to do, but the computer does it very quickly, and it does 1,000 random rates of return over that 20 years of your retirement. And what is your sequence of return risk of running out of money through those variable rates of return? Because we all know the market does not return 8% per year compounded annually. We know there are some years we get 20%, and we know there are some years we lose 20%. So again, to take advantage of that, to see how your portfolio would prevail over that sequence of return risk, do give our office a call at 877-654-9798. That number again, 877-654-9798. But better yet, the offer that we give our listeners here on the Professional Edge is at emcthebundle.com. That is Echo, Mary, Charlie, thebundle.com. We do, as part of that, your complete portfolio. We draft your revocable living trust. We fund your revocable living trust if that's the best suitable vehicle to plan your estate. Number two, we do your portfolio analysis, and with that, we do the retirement analysis, which says, can your portfolio sustain these sequence of return risk? Is it probable that you are not going to run out of money? What's the probability? Or if it's really horrible because you have not saved enough, that's something I would know before I get into retirement. So again, we do that. And then the final thing of the bundle is your income tax planning. Being a tax attorney, a CPA, and a certified financial planner, we put these three things together. So the left hand knows what the right hand is doing. So take advantage of that. It's an inflation buster as well. If you were to engage our firm for all three of these services individually, it would be north of $10,000. We're offering this for $3,000. Yes, it is a fee that's being quoted over the radio at the podcast because I'm confident enough that this is such a value to you as a listener that you will be very pleasantly surprised on what you receive from this. Again, take advantage of that at emcthebundle.com. That is Echo, Mary, Charlie, thebundle.com. So you got to do the portfolio analysis on this. One is the Monte Carlo analysis on the systematic return risk, or the return sequence risk. So that is the Monte Carlo analysis. The other one is let's project forward, have an inflation rate, and make sure that you still have the same purchasing power 10 years from now, 15 years from now, 20 years from now, and let's see what your portfolio does to sustain itself to make sure that you don't run out of money before you run out of time. I appreciate your time in listening to The Professional Edge. My name's C. Todd, tax attorney, CPA, certified financial planner, host here on The Professional Edge. Pass this along to other individuals that they can benefit from this podcast. Thanks again. And as always, make the most of each day and give someone a compliment. Just say, hey, I really like something about themselves.
We've all thought about it. Everyone listening will need one. Not having one can cause untold heartache, family conflict escalating to the point of a lawsuit. One simple thing that avoids all that: an effective estate plan. As a practicing tax attorney, Sean Todd with Estate Management Counselors has completed over 1,000 estate plans during his 15 years of professional practice. He can help you implement an effective estate plan, coordinate your financial accounts, and make sure you have named the proper beneficiaries to maximize your tax savings. Call 877-654-9798 today and let tax attorney Sean Todd help you implement an effective estate plan. Call 877-654-9798 today. As a tax attorney CPA for over 15 years, Scene Todd has implemented over 1,000 individual estate plans. He has recently authored an especially helpful guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan. This guide has helped many individuals to understand the benefits of an estate plan and how to avoid unintended disasters. Scene has made every attempt to write this in plain English. To receive this valuable guide, How to Unlock the Ultimate Estate Plan, call 1-877-654-9798 and request your complimentary copy today, or by emailing your request to info@emcadvisors.net.